First, I just want to welcome Covenant Living. We're so excited that you are part of our 60/60 tour. So, Brian, why don't we ask you to kick off and maybe give us a little bit about yourself and also a little bit about Covenant Living at San Miguel.
Sure. My name is Brian McBee. I'm the executive director here at Covenant Living at Mount Miguel. I am a third generation nursing home administrator, and my family's been in senior service for well over 60 years in multiple states: Ohio, Maryland, West Virginia, and then California with myself when I moved out here. I am also nationally certified as an assisted living and nursing home administrator through the American College of Healthcare Administrators, as well as a fellow of that organization, and then also a fellow of LeadingAge Emerge.
When did you decide, when you were young, did you say, hey, I want to do this, or what was kind of your own journey into it?
I had no intention of going into this type of service. I went off to college, with all the intellect and intelligence of any 18-year-old, thinking thinking that I wanted to change the world as a child psychologist. And as I was in school, my brother and I were in a gerontology class, and we had essentially a field trip to an assisted living residence. And we were just supposed to take intake with residents and fill out a form pretty quickly. And after about 10 minutes, the professor of the program pulled my brother and I aside and told us that we could leave. Well, I questioned my brother. I was like, what did you do? Did you get us in trouble? And it turns out we were both fine. The professor quickly realized that we were completely at home in that environment, and that it was just something that came naturally to us, where a lot of the other students who were in health professions as well, it wasn't innate to them. It wasn't something that they felt comfortable with. Dr. Grant, the professor, told me that this was on a Friday, that I needed to meet with her on Monday. She was my new academic advisor. And we talked about kind of career planning. I explained my family's background and things, and we charted a course, and here I am now.
You have been there a very long time. I want to hear more about kind of your trajectory since you were started there as a staff member.
Well, I had quite a history before I ever arrived here. And as you say, I've lived a long time. I could probably talk about the 30s or the 40s or the 50s as well as about the 60s. But I'm a kid that was born and raised here in California, and was graduated from the University of California at Berkeley in 44, went to seminary, and felt the call to overseas ministry. And I spent 17 years in Ecuador, came home considering a change, and I was offered the opportunity to come here to San Diego to this new Covenant retirement community, which was being developed. And before long, I was in an entirely different career, but in my way of thinking, it was another form of ministry. And I had the opportunity to develop the campus here, to purchase additional property, to do the original landscaping, build 4 buildings, and grew the attendance or the residency from 3 to 80. And then I sensed a call to go back to my original love and went to Mexico and spent another 10 years there. And top it off, 30 years ago, I moved into the village as a resident. So I've done the whole thing. Got any questions?
Wow. Hey, Marlan, one last question is that, so many people, and it's, I don't like to make a big deal out of ages and numbers, but it is kind of cool that you got that triple digit number next to your name. But so many people, you see them almost kind of give up when they, as they get older and they, maybe not as easy to travel, whatever. What message would you have to people that are kind of in that camp of just saying, you know what, I'm too old to learn or grow, or what would you tell them?
Well, I guess I have an inquisitive nature. For example, I got one of the earliest computers, one that if any of you, well, it was probably before any of you were alive, but not exactly. But one of IBM's computers with 2 hard drives, 160K, one drive for your program, the other drive for your, the work. So I was a Windows operator. When I turned 95, I decided I would learn Apple. So I've switched over to Apple now and enjoying it very much. And here, just a few months ago, my grandson gave me a chess set. So I'm learning chess at 100. So, you see opportunities and you take them, and you don't close the door and think that, man, it's all over.
Well, Greg and Jeanette, you've been so patiently waiting. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about living at Covenant Living.
I am so thankful that I have my health, and I live in a beautiful place, and I have a wonderful husband. And my next 10 years, I think I want to focus on continuing in my meditation. I think the most important thing now with the lockdown is that we keep our frequencies in gratitude, love, and forgiveness to overcome whatever's causing the negativity in the lockdown. I want to continue. The church that founded Mount Miguel is across the street, and I'm involved in that church. I want to continue doing that. And my last professional job was in hospice, and I will appreciate the opportunity to help people in this environment. And particularly, I like supporting the widows that because of the lockdown, they don't get enough hugs. So I try to hug as many as I can.
Oh, where did you work in hospice? In San Diego?
San Diego Hospice. Do you know San Diego Hospice?
Absolutely. I knew the CEOs there, all the last 4 CEOs. I've been there many times. A beautiful
Oh, really?
place. Yeah. I also did hospice work for a long time.
Oh, okay. So it's the most rewarding part of nursing that in my 30 years, I think, is hospice. Yeah.
3 of the most interesting people I've ever talked to. It's just like a typical walking around the hallways of the Covenant. This is pretty remarkable people.
It really truly is. And obviously these are wonderful people. I wish we could have you here to experience the whole campus and all that Mount Miguel has to offer. But we've got hundreds of people with amazing stories, amazing histories, hearts of ministry and service. And, I just feel blessed to be here serving these people that have served so many.